Hello and welcome back to another Dominion Discord Smash Ultimate Ladder Challenge match. Today's match rather features Hexecutable and Markusin. Markusin is currently in the 5th spot on the ladder, with Hexecutable in the 4th spot. That is the latest standings after I, with my secondary account, beat Hexecutable to knock him out of the 3rd spot. However, because Markusin was ahead of my secondary account before these matches, if Markusin wins, Markusin will actually go up to the number 3 spot. And Hexecutable would fall to the 5 spot, with my secondary account being at the 4 spot. If that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, sorry. I know it's slightly complicated. But there is a link in the description to the ladder standings. I'm also planning to put a link into the rules in these videos at some point once we get like a more cleaned up version of those that's ready for general publishing. So hopefully that can help make sense of things. Anyway, but yeah, so basically if Markusin wins, Markusin goes from 5 to 3. And Hexecutable goes from 4 to 5. If Markusin loses, then Hexecutable stays at 4, and Markusin stays at 5. And both players are playing on unrestricted accounts, so there's no random requirement, no characters they can or can't play. It's just whatever they want to do, which in practice for Markusin, I expect to mean Young Link. That's what he played all throughout the tournament, and I have yet to see him like really try to play any other character like at the same like sort of level of competitiveness or like in that kind of competitive context, other than Young Link. And as for Hexecutable, so in my match, he played Roy and he played Joker in the tournament. He also played some Lucina and maybe one other character. He doesn't seem to be like super settled on a particular character, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him play multiple characters. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. In the tournament, Hexecutable defeated Markusin, but there was a lot of lag, and this time, he and I also had a lot of lag for our grand finals match. And this time, my connection with Hexecutable was buttery smooth. So hopefully, the two of them will also have a smooth connection, and we'll get a good match. I mean, the match that they played in the tournament was actually pretty good anyway. Up until the point where it just really went to crap, but hopefully we'll get a good connection and get some good games. Alright, so we are seeing Hexecutable stick with the Roy. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but go with Roy. And Markusin, as expected, with the Link. It occurs to me that I don't know whether in my match I had the overlay put in the right spots. I might have had it reversed the whole time and not even noticed. I wouldn't rule that out at all. So, I was talking a little bit when I played against Hexecutable's Roy as Robin about the fact that I thought he could have been a little bit more aggressive with aerialing during his jumps and trying to intercept my jumps. I think that'll be harder to do against Markusin. Markusin has a pretty aggressive playstyle, particularly given that he plays Young Link and does a lot of like quick aerials, like where Robin doesn't really have the option of doing quick aerials. I'll also be interested to see how well Hexecutable deals with the projectiles. Oh, that was okay, wow. I was gonna say, that was a really good option for Hexecutable there to go off stage and intercept. Except it looked like his timing on that forward aerial was a little bit off and he got hit, but then for whatever reason Markusin wasn't able to recover, and I didn't quite catch why. So after a big lead for Markusin, Hexecutables brought it back to within I mean, it's still a noticeable lead, but certainly Roy kills Young Link a lot earlier than Young Link kills Roy, with the exception that Roy's recovery is not the greatest. So if, you know, markusin finds an edge guard or gimp or something, and take care of Roy early. But yeah, so an up smash there at over 100 does not kill. But nonetheless, at this point, obviously markusin with a much more substantial lead has added about 60% since I started talking about it. No, actually 80%, maybe. Oh, I don't know why Executable kept up swinging that direction there. I think he could have had him like done like a jab F smash there if he'd been facing the right way. Oh wow, okay, boomerang not a good choice there for markusin, and almost potentially cost him his stock. I don't know if dash attack would have killed there, but it might have been close. Up B not taking it for markusin. Okay, dash attack does. Let's just say up B. Young Link's up B doesn't have as much power on it as like Link's does, for example. It's a kill move. Executable not ready for the boomerang coming back around there. It's definitely one of the trickier parts about fighting any of the Links. Keeping track of that and deciding like kind of how much you care, to be honest. Like if it is it worth like getting hit in the back in order to like get a hit in on Link? Maybe. I guess yeah, there you see, so if that were Chrom that had landed that that forward B, I suspect that it would have killed, but because with Roy you really have to get in with the hilt of the sword in order to get the full power. It did not. That's one of the reasons I actually prefer Chrom, just for like sort of the reliability of being able to hit anywhere with the sword, but Roy does have some distinct advantages, for sure. Alright, so we're in a similar situation to what we were in the previous stock, with Executable with a lot of damage. And, oh, intercepts with the forward air to take the game. Well played from markusin. My recollection is that markusin won the first game, and then I want to say in the tournament won the first game, then lost the next two, won game 4, and then lost game 5 or something like that. Maybe he just lost 3 in a row. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure markusin won the first game there. So have to see whether Executable is able to adapt again. Markusin is banning Lilat and Town and City. So there's somewhat opposite stages. Not really sure if there's any reason for that other than just maybe disliking the stages. I think Lilat... And I think as Young Link, you like having the platforms and being able to sort of jump around and throw projectiles at different angles. But I could also see Lilat being scary because you could get like the easily up tilt juggled, or like have him like short hop parrying you from the base platform, that sort of thing. All right, so they're gonna go to FD. Yeah, I mean that's probably what I would pick as Roy as well. I think I've expressed my opinion on that sort of subject before. But that I like having... Oh no, the overlay is reversed. RIP. Oh, also this is Battlefield. Okay, well. here we go. 1, 2, actual FD. You know, the one thing I will say is that if you are gonna pick FD into a character like Young Link, you have to know like how to deal with the projectiles. Like I think at a low level of play, it's a bad choice, and you'd rather have like the cover of the platforms to shield you from the projectiles, because if you don't, you know, if you're just gonna get hit by them over and over, like it's gonna be easier for them to hit you. But if you know how to like sort of like, you know, run forward, shield, run forward, jump at the right timing, like that, etc., to avoid them, then I think it becomes advantageous. Oh, I like the aggression there. Just didn't get the timing right. Ooh, nice catch with the boomerang in the down smash. That was really slick. Oh, got another boomerang opening there to extend the combo. Well played by markusin. Alright, let's see if... So, executable doesn't go off stage this time. Yeah, that was... I didn't like that as much. I think I would actually at least consider going out and throwing out the counter. Oh my gosh, that forward tilt. Yeah, it seems like Hexacutable's not really ready for the arrows in particular. Well, he's gotten hit by the boomerang plenty as well. And he gets hit by the bomb. Okay, yeah, so definitely like a lot of damage coming in on him from the projectiles, and probably should either figure out like what the movement pattern he needs to avoid them is, or okay. I wasn't sure whether he had his jump. Took him long enough to use it without, probably might have lost it. Anyway, so I think he needs to either figure out like what pattern he needs to use to avoid the projectiles, or needs to reconsider the stage choice. And I will say, I guess, you know, if you're... I said I would come here as Roy, but if you're playing Roy the way Roy like should be played, as like a really aggressive rushdown character, it might actually not make sense, because like, you know, I'm thinking about it in terms of like being the kind of person who plays characters like Ike and Ganon, who aren't as desperate to get in like as quickly as possible, and they do need to get in, but you know, it's like you're content with sort of like approaching slowly, where Roy is maybe less so. So this might actually not be the best stage choice from that perspective, because it's harder to do that, like, you know, run up, you know, block a projectile, run up, jump over projectile, you know, maybe back away, then, you know, block another one. Like, you have to sort of play this little game with it, and if you really just want to dash in and hit them as fast as possible, then FD is not, I think, a good choice for that style of play. In any case, markusin with the 2-0 lead. I think Hexecutable might also benefit from just switching characters. Not even necessarily because I think his Roy is worse. I mean, maybe it is. It's a little tough to say from, you know, relatively few games. But just because I think with Joker, he has the opportunity to play like a style that isn't as disrupted by the projectile game from markusin's Young Link. Alright, so it looks like we are going back to Battlefield this time. And Palutena, man, I just Oh, I think I forgot to switch the... Where's last time? I don't know. This is tough to maintain. I need a production department. There we go. Alright. So yeah, I don't know that I've seen Hexecutable play Palutena. Palutena is definitely a very strong character, though, and has a strong projectile game. I don't know that it necessarily is better than Young Link's, but it doesn't necessarily matter if it's better so long as it's, like, competitive. Yeah, obviously also has the Reflector, which is certainly like a good option if you're anticipating that they're gonna throw something out, especially at like mid-range where they may not have time to react to it coming back into their face. So Markusin's really going to need to be alert to how Explosive Flame works. Like, that hitbox lasts a really long time, and if Palutena's throwing that out, like, as a ledge trap option, you know, you want to either just wait it out, which is often fine because there's a fair amount of end lag for Palutena on throwing that move out, or you can, you know, potentially, like, roll through it. If she is able to, like, do it and then close the gap, you could potentially, like, drop down and then do, like, an up B or a rising aerial or something. But don't just stand up into it because it'll last too long. In any case, Hexecutable with his first lead of the set. Well, I was about to say, it looks like it might be pretty short-lived, but does manage to make it back. That was a wildly off-target Explosive Flame. There are two distances on Explosive Flame. I'm not sure if that was like an input error, if Executable used the wrong one or doesn't know the difference or what exactly. Palutena is definitely a very strong juggle character. I don't actually know if her up air beats out Young Link's down air, though. I would intuitively think not, but I've been wrong about that sort of thing plenty of times at this game, so I'm not going to make the assumption. But the up air is a very important part of her juggle kit, along with neutral aerial. Executable's overall playing a pretty grounded style, though. Working out, but back throw, get him off stage, yeah. Oh, interesting. I thought he was going to go for another Explosive Flame. I actually like that option, though, to get, like, because of the height that Markusin was at, I think back air was a good way to try to steal the stock. It didn't work out, but... Okay, so meanwhile, Markusin's really bringing this back. Well, that was a regrab, but Markusin wasn't really in position to punish it. Yeah, Markusin's really stepping up the projectile game right now. Oh, man. That was a little bit of a risky taunt. Alright, now Markusin getting a little smash happy. Palutena's at 160. I don't think we need smash attacks to finish off the stock. Okay, well, that works, I guess. So now Markusin has a decent lead. Well, okay, pretty much so much for that, but nonetheless, good job of mounting a comeback, because he was pretty far down on the first stock. Executable pretty much ran away with that, with the first stock. Oh no! Did he? He must have thought he was going to grab ledge, or maybe he lost his jump. I don't know, but that's a really unfortunate SD. I assume he just realized too late that he needed to use his up B. Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. Well, I would imagine that Hexecutable will stick with the Palutena, given that he won the game. But I'm not convinced that markusin won't be able to. Like, he was already adapting in game 3 there to the Palutena, so I'm not convinced he wouldn't be the favorite to take game 4. Looks like we're going to Yoshi's story. But there's a way in OBS to get it set up so you can just toggle different things to flip this which sides the names are on, but I do not have that set up. Gotta like change the name depending on which player enters the arena first. And like I said, I may have, well actually, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say I may have screwed it up during, or will not notice that it was screwed up during my match with Hexecutable. But, oh well. Actually, I guess I could go for my match with Kathleen. Yeesh. All right, here we go. Unsurprisingly, sticking with the Palutena. Now we're on Yoshi's story. I mean, not too terribly different from Battlefield. Yeah, I don't think Hexecutable should be trying to like out-camp markusin here. I think, like, yes, mix in the projectiles when you either have advantage or you know, just like see a good opening or what have you. But I think in general, like, well, all right. Then Hexecutable started trying to go in, and markusin pretty much just beat him up and took the stock, so I don't know. Yeah, I think... Oh, here's a big punish opportunity. Oh, he's dead. Don't go out there. Like, also, like, there is an example of, like, maybe not dealing with pressure as well as he could be. Like, Hexecutable did an air dodge when he was coming down. markusin was throwing out an up smash, but there was a platform that he could have just landed on. And that's a lot safer than air dodging. Right, air dodging has a long recovery time, so... I mean, if you're going to pick a stage with platforms, I would think that would be part of the reason you'd want to use them. Okay, here's a little something going from executable. Still got markusin in the corner, but not really able to do anything with that. I think up air would have landed there. Yeah, part of the thing is like the part of the reason I think that markusin or Young Link wins the projectile exchange at distance is that explosive flame has like a set distance. Well, it's two different distances, but it's still a set distance. Whereas the arrow and the boomerang travel all the way across. So if you aren't at the right distance, then Young Link can hit you or can hit Palutena, and Palutena can't hit Young Link. Now that's not as true for auto reticle, but he hasn't been using a lot of auto reticle. He's mostly been using explosive flame. Meanwhile, really good ledge trap sequence here from markusin, just knocking Hexecutable off stage over and over and over. Probably could have finished off the stock right there. Went with the safer option of down tilt, which is fine, of course. And gets another down tilt into, or was that the boomerang hit? Whatever, into forward aerial to take the stock and the match. So, good job, markusin. Taking it 3-1 over Hexecutable. And yeah, so I think at least part of this matchup, like at the player level, is that markusin I think has a better handle on the totality of his options as Young Link than Hexecutable has on his options as the various characters that he's picking, because he hasn't focused as much. Which is not to say that I necessarily think he needs to or anything like that, right? It's, for one thing, it's just for fun, and for another thing, like sometimes you just got to try out a bunch of different things and see what appeals to you. But I do think it makes a difference. markusin is able to do a little bit more to mix up his game when things aren't going his way, whereas Hexecutable, like if what he's trying to do doesn't work, doesn't have as much knowledge of how to change up the game plan with like the given character that he's playing. Anyway, yeah, so they're talking in the chat about Palutena's tilts. I also think, I didn't really mention this, but Palutena's tilts in general are a little iffy to me. They last a long time, but that kind of cuts both ways. They're not fast, and they're quite punishable if you don't land them. I think in general her aerial game is a lot stronger. Like for instance, the neutral aerial, which does stay out a long time, is still not that like punishable. Like it comes out quickly and it ends quickly, and then like the hitbox is kind of all around Palutena. So unlike like the forward tilt, which has like a big long-lasting hitbox that's out in front of Palutena, but if you were to like roll behind or jump over or something, then Palutena is vulnerable. The neutral area is kind of all around her, so it's a lot harder to punish like while the move is active, and then it the cooldown is lower. And then there's also just like quicker moves like back air and forward air. Something I would be looking to utilize that stuff a little bit more. Granted, against Young Link, the problem is that you can pretty easily get anti-aerial by like the boomerang and the arrows, for example. So that can definitely be an issue. Anyway, that is going to do it for this match. I don't know who will be playing next, but I'm sure there will be some more matches to come, so look forward to that, and until then.